Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we have week 2 of Winter's Night. I'm going to show you the name of it. And my ink cartridge is not here yet, so this is what you should have downloaded. This right here. Let's make sure it stays on the correct page. That's what you should be seeing. Those colors. If you don't get it in your email, check your junk box. Okay, this is our A fabric. No, I'm sorry, our B fabric. I've already forgot. The light blue was the A. This is our B. This is our E. If you note, they're the same size. It's just a different amount. There's 2 of them, 8 of them. 8 of those, 8 of those. 16 of these, 24 of these. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the directions say to use these rectangles and these squares. I've already marked the back of them. You're going to mark all of them diagonal. You're going to put it on the, take one of yours. Now, these are 8 each. And you're going to lay it like this. You're going to stitch this way. You're going to take the excess off. Then you're going to put this one that way. You're going to cut the excess off. Whoops, wrong direction. All right, it needs to go this way. Then it will be like that. Now you probably don't need pins because since there's this glitter on both of these, they're sticking together pretty good. And you want to start at the top of the fabric, not the bottom where the point is, because it will try to bury your fabric. I'm using a 2.0 stitch. I'm using a 12 needle. And I'm just using white thread. You can use blue thread if you want to match your product. Match your fabric or whatever fabric you're using if you just received the pattern and that was it. Went ahead and I ironed it open. I have a little lamb's wool along with that other, the wool mat. Now I have a little lamb's wool mat also that I received in a box. But I went ahead and I cut off the excess. I ironed it and I ironed it to the white side. And it says on the directions you can iron it to any side, whatever your preference is. Hopefully my hands are not in the way. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to iron it. This is what I do. I make sure that the right part's being cut. So I flip this over. So this is the correct side being cut. I have made a boo-boo before when I was first starting out. I put my 1/4 inch on my ruler right across the line on top of it. Watch your fingers so you don't take your fingers off, especially if you're using a little ruler like this. I'm going to take it over here to the ironing board. First I finger press it, and then I'm going to iron it. Go ahead and take the white rectangles and the blue, all but 8 of them, because you've got 24. And we're going to make the same thing, the geese, again. Just like that. We're going to sew it and do the same thing we did with the others. And then we'll come back and we'll have 16 flying geese. 8 of them will be with the blue and 8 will be with the white. And I'll lay them down here. The 2 white ones and the remaining 8. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a square and a square. You're going to take your square and it's going to be diagonal, the line is. We're going to sew that, cut this edge off, and flip this over on all 4. So let's make a square. I haven't made one of these squares in a long time. I'm going to go ahead and change this. So I put the other little square on the opposite end. I'm going to go ahead and do my next square. Well, we got some wind outside. It's really windy out there. Gonna dry off all that rain we had last night. The block looks like this now. And then we're going to put the square on the corner, both ends, and do the same thing. And I'm lining up the corner down here so we don't come off. Otherwise our square will be too big. I thought I caught it, but maybe not. I might have to go over that corner again. I'll get here in a second. Yep, I got it. So I apologize if you hear all that noise in the background of that toy that Bandit has in his mouth. He's got his favorite ball up here. I think he's got a, looks like a squirrel up here. He's got his jack bone and a ball now. He just keeps going downstairs and bringing more things up. And I don't hear it until I shut the machine off, and then while I'm trying to see what I've done, that's when I notice the noise. So I haven't heard it at all in the video up to this point. So like I said, I apologize if he's made too much noise. Let's go ahead and get this cut up, and then we're going to be done with this square. It is laid out. We're going to do it in rows. So we're going to do, first we're going to do these two here. And I'm going to go ahead and do these two, these two, these two, and these two. So then we have 3 squares to put together. We're going to need to mark, because when we flip these over, we have a spot that we don't want to take our tip off. And this is the side we're marking. So you're going to put your, let me see if I can get you closer here. You're going to take your marker, whatever you're using, you're going to put it on the dot before the 2 lines. Here's a line, and there's a line of sewing. So go right above it. Put your ruler up against the pin, so you have a mark there. And then I'm only marking on the blue. I'm not going off onto the white. So this is what it looks like. Looks just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going, in my case, I'm pinning. I pin from the left to the right because I'm right-handed. So first I'm pinning this end. Then I'm going to pin this end down here. I'm not going to pin that part in the middle yet. Let me show you what I got. So this is what I have. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put my pen in the middle. I'm going to put it off to the side over here. I'm pinning over here on the side instead of in the middle, because I don't want the bulk to be shifted on me. So I just pinned it over here. I'm going to slowly come down my 1/4 inch, come across my line, and keep on going down. We're going to do that first, and then we're going to do it on all of these. All right, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but don't think that this snowflake is going to turn out perfect. We are just now beginning with it, and it has a lot of points that have to be marked and be sewn over real carefully, or we'll lose every one of our tips. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you get to sewing. And I've already started on the line, so I took my pin out. I continued on the line. And then I'm going to come right off the edge of the fabric, like that. Ironed it open, and no, I did not lose my tip. See my tip right there? Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and do the next 3, and that's what you're going to do. Which is our first row we're going to start working on. So you're going to put your 2 pieces together. So we have these 2 pieces right here. This is the left side. This is the next one. This faces downward. I've ironed my fabric to the light side. I'm not going to worry about this because I can see. You don't need to mark your 1/4 inch because we can see where it is. Right? Everybody see that? Let me, I'll move myself around here a little bit. There we go. You can see that when I come down here my 1/4 inch, I'm not chopping anything off. See right here? Let me get a pointer. Right here, I'm going to come down here my 1/4 inch and I won't be chopping any seam off. As long as I'm staying on the right hand side of this right there, that's fine because that's where my tip is at. So just come down our 1/4 inch and it's going to be both sides, this as well as the other side when I put it together. Let me get you closer. We'll take a look at it. We didn't take our tip. We didn't lose anything off that corner there. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to attach this side just like we did that one. We're going to pin it. Looking at this, it looks like I have even less space, so I may even be chopping it. And if I chop it, I am not going to worry about it. This is one of those projects that has so many tips that while you quilt it, you're not going to notice whether you've whether you've chopped them off or not. Believe me, I know you're never going to even notice it. Sometimes that happens. Let's take a look at it anyway. One way sewing it and one way ironing it. See, looks fine. There you got a little bit extra, just a smidgen. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing here at the bottom, same kind of row. So I don't need to show you that, but this is the one that I'm going to show you. There's the top row and here's the bottom row. Now we're going to put this row together because here's the tip, here's a tip, here's a tip, here's a tip. And we don't want to lose them. So the best that we can do, so we don't go crazy, is we're going to mark one side. So I'm going to mark this side here, which is on the white. I'm going to mark this side here, which is the white. And then I'm going to sew it, and I'll show you how I'm going to pin it. I pinned it on the left. I pinned it on the right. And instead of going in the middle, I pinned it here on the side. It doesn't want to focus. There we go. Here's my line. I'm going to sew up to there, go over the line, and keep on going. Right now, you could take a pin to make sure you have them even. Go at the bottom. So here's the line. Here's where they both cross over. Go at the bottom of it and go straight in. So you go like this. This is below the 2 stitching lines. Turn it around. Take a look at it and see. Is the back same place? Yes, it's below the 2 stitch. I can't get too close. My thing doesn't want to focus. It's right below this stitch line and this stitch line. So it's even sitting there without having a pin in it. If you put a pin in it, you're going to distort it. So I put a pin over here. We're just going to come across it, go right, just sew right across it and keep on going. Then we're going to take a peek at it. And whatever you do, don't stress about it. Like I said, once you get to quilting it, you're not going to notice all of those spots that are off unless they're way, way off. All right, I'm going over my line that I drew on there. And I want to make sure I got my, might have to give it a little tug. Okay. There we go. There it is, did not take the tip. Let me iron it and show it to you next. There it is, ironed open. We did not lose that tip nor that tip. Let's put the other piece on. This is the other side. When I'm done with this one, I'll have the 3 middle pieces sewn together. not the rows now, just the pieces. We're going to slow down when we get here to the part that got marked. There we go. I have to iron this. As you can see, I ironed it open. And if you have one of these right here, this is what I used. And this is what I did. I took it, laid it on my ironing board, laid it across here, and then ironed it, and that helps a lot. And I actually got this from Yvette Renee. She's got her channel, the Yvette Renee, and her husband made these. And I've already given my sister one, a friend of hers one, a couple other people. I bought a few of them to pass out. So just so you know, that's how I did it for this one. And now we're going to put them all together. This is how I'm going to do it, because remember now, I've got this open. So we're going to nestle this one. You'll take the left-hand side, put it up against that right there so the cracks go together, and pin it. And I pin right off the flap here so that the needle can come down in there before I take my pen out. And let me see, I better go the, no, well, I need to, well, not really. Let's see here. We're going to pin this end. You can do either side. So I'm going to pin this one first, then I'm going to go here. I'm going to flip that to the right so that it stays, that's the way that I ironed it, to the right. So I want to pin it, hold it down, like that. Then we're going to skip the middle. I'm going to go over here and we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to make sure that our seam is in the middle there. Like that. We're going to go to the end. We're going to mark it. Then we're going to go to this piece here, and we're going to pin it to hold it down. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the middle here. And it's probably easier if we, well, first I didn't mark it. Let me get that done real quick. All right, so what did I just do with my pen? Oh, here we go. All righty, so take the pen, go straight in the bottom, on the top, and it did not come out, so I have to hold on, grab it, go on this piece first, then go into here, which is the bottom. So now, so all that is just straight in there. Now pull the left-hand side taut, like that, while that pin is still straight. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a pin on the left-hand side here, so it stays right there. See if I can get above that. There we go. Go over here to this side and do the same thing, because I can feed that wiggle through right here. For some reason, there we go. Now you can see it. Now let's go ahead and sew that. All right, now we got this all pinned, and now we're going to sew it. Okay, and I'm actually sewing the opposite side that I sewed when I did the first block to find out if there was any kind of issues and what I needed to say to show you this block. And I did it on the opposite side. So when I go to sew the next row on, I'm going to flip it over. And then you have an option to see which one you think looks better in the way of actually sewing it together. And hopefully I don't have any issues with this side. go. Now, if you have to pull your fabric, be sure and just tug a little bit. If you pull that too hard, you'll break your needle. All right, just letting you know. I don't think I've ever broke my needle that way, but you can, because I've seen my needle bend. And if it's bending, that's the beginning of breaking. So, just so you know. Oops, I'm stuck on a intersection there on the other side. Alrighty. I'm gonna take a peek at our tip. Tip survived. So you can see that that was okay. That's all right. That's all right. I feel like I gotta back up some here. Now we're gonna put this top to this, and I'm gonna do it. Flip it upside down and do it this way so you can see all of these things in it, which I didn't see before. And as you notice, everything has opened up. I've opened all my seams. Now, this is the one that is flipped over so we can see these two other seams. And you do whichever one is best for you. And that's going to be in for this week. And since it's only 4 weeks, we're halfway over. Halfway done. Because the 4th week is our assembly. Let's iron that and take a look at it. Alrighty, looks pretty good. I don't see anything. All the tips look okay. Yep. And so when I ironed this, instead of just ironing it like that, I pressed it. So first I did the bar thing, and then I set it and flipped it over when I was done and held down the iron like that. Anyway, that's what you do. You just lay it down. Unless you'd like to cover it with something, you can cover it and then iron it. But I wouldn't iron directly over that. And none of that came off. So here's my other one right here. So they're both done. They're both looking good. So we have 2 squares, 2 snowflakes for week 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you've got any questions, by all means, ask the questions. If you need to see any kind of ironing or anything, you can also ask about that. I can show that for you. And I guess that's it. Welcome to all my new subscribers, and I will see you guys next week. Give me a thumbs up. Take care. Bye-bye.